Hi everyone, today is April 3rd, 2017, and today is my Everything Aries video. Last time I did this for Pisces, I had my script, and today I'm just going to speak from my heart, and I think I can do this for Aries. With Pisces, you know, I didn't want to make a mistake, and I just felt like it was the video was just, it was a tiny bit more stifled than I wanted. So I'm just going to speak from my heart. I'm not going to be able to get it all out there, but I'm going to try my very best. I've got a sick kid. I'm babysitting a dog. This place is like a zoo. 2 cats, 2 dogs, the sick kid here. So it's just the life of a mom here. But here's my Everything Aries video from my heart, hopefully to yours. And if you are an Aries, or if you're involved with an Aries, or if you have a lot of planets in your first house, you have kind of an Aryan emphasis. If your moon is an Aries, if your child is an Aries, you're going to want to watch this. Aries are really interesting people, and they're hard to deal with sometimes. But once you understand how they're wired, it's a lot easier. Now, I want you to think about these famous people that are Aries, so you can put this in your mind as we talk. And it's going to be a little bit helpful for you. So I want you to think about these Aries. Russell Crowe, Lady Gaga, and think about what they all have in common. Lady Gaga, Thomas Jefferson, Leonardo da Vinci, I almost said DiCaprio, he's a Scorpio, Vincent van Gogh, Peyton Manning, Maya Angelou, Emma Watson, and did I say Thomas Jefferson? I think I did. And my favorite, Bam Bam, Cam Chancellor, of course, Go Seahawks, and Richard Sherman. What do you see? Hi everybody, I'm so glad you're here. Give me a little thumbs up, give me some love for my Aries. What do you see in common with all these people? These people are breakout artists and leaders and historians and absolutely phenomenal risk takers. These are strong, courageous, gutsy people on the front lines of life. And so Aries energy is not to be reckoned with. These people are truly fearless. If you are an Aries and you are dealing with, if you're dealing with feeling insecure, you probably have not totally self-developed yet, because Aries are pretty courageous from the start. They are fire, they are cardinal. Cardinal people are born leaders. Just think of a cardinal. They are ruled by Mars, the god of war, the god of life force energy. These people have high octane rocket fuel as their chi. They are direct, they are impulsive, adventurous, they are fast, they are quick, they are swift, they are instinctual, they are gutsy, they are adventurous, and they don't want to be held back. So they are ferociously independent. And it's hard for them to do relationships because they are so independent. And if you can't get on board with their program, they don't have a lot of patience. Libra is their opposite sign, and so they don't like wishy-washy. They are direct, unfettered, and uncomplicated. And when you think about Russell Crowe, he really is a quintessential Aries, and almost all of his acting jobs or roles, if you will, are very Aryan, aren't they? You know, they play a good game of war, and they are the warrior. So they will incarnate into a lifetime that requires this warrior attitude. They will incarnate into a lifetime that their life will require them to fight something. They're good fighters, and they're supposed to be. And I really admire the Aries that I have in my life, but don't put an Aries on your team if you're even a little bit insecure, or if you don't want to hear their opinion, because they can't help themselves. They were born to tell it, and they were born to live it. So if you're going to go to dinner with I don't know, pick one of those people, Richard Sherman. You're going to go to dinner with Richard Sherman. Bring a little bit of extra self-esteem. Bring a little bit of extra self-confidence. The thing they love the most, if you're involved with an Aries, do this hands down. Be confident. You know, you can gain weight. You don't have to put on your makeup. This is for women. You don't have to doll up. You don't have to dress up, as long as you're confident. This sign, more than any, those other things help, but this sign more than any other sign is the aphrodisiac is self-esteem and self-confidence. So don't go to dinner with Richard Sherman and be insecure about it. It won't work. He'll leave. He'll excuse himself with some excuse or not. You know, here's what I want to give my Aries friends. If you have a moon in Aries, or if you're Aries rising, or you have an Aries sun sign, you know, you're here to tap into your vitality and lead the way. You're here to blaze a trail. These are the true pioneers. If you think about the American pioneers, I know I have friends from all over the world, but I just have to use this piece of history that I know. And you think about those people in those covered wagons moving from the east to the west, believing in the gold rush, believing that there was a better life here, and leaving even New York City to come out here to San Francisco and even Seattle, only to find truly a mess. They were pioneers. They blazed through trails that were so tumultuous and so scary and so frightening, and they had nothing. And the ones that survived probably had this kind of Aryan energy fueling them to go. They don't quit. They're not quitters. They want to be number one. They want to be the best. And something inside of them tells them that they are. And truthfully, they probably are if they're self-developed. If they're not self-developed, they will build a life sort of on a vanity, on a false vanity, and they will end up feeling secretly worthless. And usually they want to be number one so badly, whether it's intellectual or physical, that they can't stand themselves if it isn't authentic. I don't know too many Aries that aren't truly authentic people. Look at Lady Gaga for a minute. Her life is about being, I guess, kind of a persona, or it was. Her artistry was a lot about being a persona. But there's something so interesting about her, isn't it? She does it with such authenticity. When she sang at that Super Bowl, she would not give up who she was inside, in the core. Also, look at Peyton Manning. Sorry, I'm bringing up all these Americans, but I just have to talk about people who I kind of know passionately something about. So Peyton Manning, I think there would be a major consensus here that he is one of the world's greatest quarterbacks. He's an Aries, and he is authentically so. You look at Thomas Jefferson, he was no fake. Even Russell Crowe, no fake. They can't fake it. Because they want that leadership position so badly, they want to do whatever it takes to earn it. So they have this deep self-motivation to thrive and to achieve and to lead. They're born to lead. And they're here to teach others how to take risks in life. These are risk takers. If you're an Aries, or you have an Aries moon or Aries rising, or you know an Aries, and they're not taking risks in their life, they're not living. It's like a Sagittarius that's not optimistic, or a Gemini that's not talkative. So, hi everybody. Hi Courtney. Hi Rhonda. Hi Gina. And Keith's here. Hi you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Anyways, they're here through self-development, developing their ability to take risks, through embracing their courage to become a great leader, and then lending that energy to others. So when they find a cause that's bigger than themselves, they usually start out, thank you for the love, whoever that was. It's so motivating to get hearts across your screen, right? Makes me just want to talk more. But when an Aries usually starts out in their life pretty self-centered and pretty self-absorbed. Now, there's a reason for this. Don't get mad at your Aries who are really self-focused, because they know they've got something inside of themselves that they're trying to figure out and develop. They know they have a power. They know they have a fiery passion. They know that they are born to lead. Yet when they're young, they don't know in which capacity, in which way. Sometimes somebody tells them what their gift is. Other times they figure it out on their own, but they have this almost myopic focus on themselves because they're trying to create this, they're trying to turn their vitality into something really bold and really worthy. Vincent van Gogh, he lost his mind in his myopic self-absorption, taking art into a totally illegal direction. A lot of these people are so bold they feel like they should be illegal almost. Look at Richard Sherman, always getting a penalty, right? Van Gogh, he was just considered a crazy. And he kind of was. He lost himself in his passion, in his risk-taking. He broke all the rules of artistry. Look at Thomas Jefferson. Now, he was an interesting person and certainly not illegal, but God, was he brave. I mean, feel the bravery and the courage of an Aries, and forgive them for being a little bit self-centered because they've got a lot going on inside of them. Now, if your Aries is not taking a risk, now listen, here's what's ironic about this. Aries absolutely hates being vulnerable, but if they don't take risks, they die. So try that on. If they don't take risks, they die. It's like a Gemini who can't talk. You know, they die. If a Gemini can't communicate, they just die. So Aries does not like being vulnerable. So what is the thing that shores that up? They have to take risks or they die. They can't stand being vulnerable. One thing and one thing only. Guts. Guts. They find the courage to jump off that diving board. And they have this leadership and this fire in them so deeply, so profoundly, this high octane fuel, that it matters more to them that they face their vulnerability, they stare it down, and they jump off the high dive. And they will do it. Now, if you have an Aries that's stuck on the diving board and won't jump, just go push them. They need a push. Just push them into it. Probably not literally, but verbally encourage them. Encourage them that they're not maximizing their life. They're not built to live small. They're not built to live in the corner. They're not built to shut up, be quiet, sit in the back room. They're born to lead the charge. So if you do have an Aries in your life, they are ferociously courageous, ferociously gutsy, and they should be leading, pioneering the way. They're usually born to do something first. They're usually born to completely break down the walls and the barriers that were presented to them at birth. For example, they might be the first person who immigrated. They might be in their family. They might be the first person who got a college education. They might be the first person who got divorced. They might be the first person who broke away from their Catholic church or religion. They might be the first person who came out in their family. So Aries has to be self-centered in order to get this great thing out. Look at Maya Angelou. If you've ever studied her life, it is a life filled with facing courage and staring opposition down on a daily basis, and then becoming an inspiration to the whole world with her learnings. Very self-taught. I wanted to say something else. Oh, I know what it is. When Aries really masters themselves, they take that bravery and that courage and they find a cause bigger than themselves. This usually happens a little later in life because in the first part of their life, they have to be self-focused. And when they find a cause that is worthy of their leadership, their vitality, their passion, their fire, their knowledge, and they invest in it and they lend their courage to others and they teach others how to lead, be gutsy, courageous, believe in themselves, and they are outspoken, that's when they've mastered their life. So when they have found a cause that's bigger than themselves, that demands and commands them to get out of self-focus. And they step into it. They loan their energy to it, their vitality. That's when they can literally change the world. And when we look at my people that I talked about, Lady Gaga, Thomas Jefferson, Leonardo da Vinci, Vincent van Gogh, Peyton Manning, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, when they contributed to a team, which Aries, by the way, doesn't like to do. They're independent thinkers. They like to work alone. They don't like being a part of a team. That team slows them down. You know, everybody on that team is not going to be number one like I know I was born to be. Now, that's their secret talk, but they feel that. So they get really irritated with like a dumb team or a team that's going to slow them down or a team that's going to be a bunch of less thans. They really want to be on a team of people of elite. They want to be on a team of elites. And if they're on a team of elites, they're in heaven, absolute heaven. Because while they are a leader, they don't necessarily crave being the smartest and the best because they always want to up their game. So let me make sure this piece is understood, okay? They're born to lead, I get that. But they don't want to lead a bunch of dummies. And by the way, I'm being Sagittarius, forgive me, a bunch of dummies, right? They don't want to lead secondaries. They want to lead primaries. And they also really kind of crave meeting somebody who can teach them something, who can raise the stakes, raise the bar, raise their game. Somebody who is as smart as or smarter than or whatever their industry is. Let's say it's a fashion model. Well, a fashion model, I don't know an Aries fashion model, but let's just say there is one. Well, they would want to meet somebody who's better at their game than they are, so they have somebody raising their bar so they can then become better because they're highly competitive and highly competitive with themselves, like where they're standing. If I've evolved to here and I meet somebody who's here, ooh, that's exciting because now I know how to up my game. I don't always know how to up my game if I'm the best in the room. So I just want to say a couple of things. If you've got an Aries in your life, the aphrodisiac is confidence and challenge them, but challenge them authentically. Don't just challenge them for play. Like really challenge them on their beliefs. Like, why do you believe that? And bring something to the table. Bring some meat to the table. And by the way, quit being intimidated by them because that is boring. That is so boring. Here's the fastest way you get rid of an Aries. Team Aries. There's Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, you guys. Thank you for being here. Here's the fastest way to get an Aries to break up with you. Be boring. Be codependent. Be a loser. That's so terrible. Okay, I can do better than that. I can do better than that. Be insecure. Don't believe in yourself. Be needy. The opposite sign to Aries is Libra. So Aries needs to learn how to do relationships. Aries needs to learn how to work with another person's agenda and ideas. And Aries needs to learn how to speak sensitively. I've got my water, not my wine. Isn't that good since it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon? So that's my Everything Aries video. I am just sharing from my heart to yours. And if you have any Aries comments or questions or ideas that you would like to share, that was just my little snippet. There's so much more to say about Aries and their love and their courage. I guess I would like to just end on the note of when your Aries is being too direct, too self-absorbed, or too into their own focus, their own mission, just know that they are self-developing. They are being exactly who they are supposed to be. And you can gently guide them back into what the goal is or where you want them to go. They'll go with you if they respect you, but they need to respect you. And how they respect you is through you demonstrating courage, strength, guts, be a risk taker, and bring some meat to the table. Don't accommodate and serve all their ideas. Bring your own individuality. You know, how would you sit down with Lady Gaga? What kind of conversation would you have with Richard Sherman? I really doubt you'd bring your fear to the table. It might be inside of you, but you know the way to their heart. The aphrodisiac is self-esteem. Big, big, big confidence. Okay, I'm signing off. I hope you liked my Everything Aries. Take good care and take care of your Aries people. Bye.